Hello everybody, it's 1 o'clock and I was going to say it's 1 o'clock and time for the news, but it's 1 o'clock and time for my daily broadcast from the studio to keep you up to date with what I'm doing and to offer you a little bit of inspiration and tell you a little bit about my work as a textile artist, but currently sweatshop seamstress, it feels like. Since yesterday when I spoke to you, the meterage of Scrubs fabric arrived into our valley, into the home valley, and I have been put to work making scrubs. Well, I've cut out lots of scrubs. I've cut out about 20-25 sets so far, ready to get stitched up. My hands are quite sore cutting already, but it's fine. Sun's out, and I'm really fortunate that I've got plenty of space in the studio, so it's easy for me to do the cutting out. So I'm doing cutting out for other people so that they can sew, and I can do the bit that's easy for me, and we can be as efficient as possible. Thank you, Fiona. We can be as efficient as possible amongst ourselves. Different things that have also happened since I last saw you. Well, I kind of imagine that I'm seeing you because I've met a lot of you face to face, so I've got little visions of you in my mind's eye. So since I last saw you, also I have been on the radio and I've posted the little section of the radio broadcast on the Facebook page somewhere, so scroll up or scroll down and you will find it there. I instructed Gail from Leeds BBC Radio to make a small fabric brooch, so literally she had to hand stitch along a strip of fabric, pull it tight. It went round into a circle with gathers in the middle, glue or stitch a button to cover up the gathers and all the rough bits in the middle, and then put a safety pin on the back. And so a non-sewer, even a non-sewer could manage that. And it was like, I described it as, you know, being a little bit of spring and a little bit of sunshine in the day. She could maybe make them, or listeners could maybe make them for friends or neighbours, leave them on doorsteps, just to give someone a smile, you know, brighten up the day. So also I had an email last night from someone who had submitted a piece for the virtual log cabin quilt, which is great. Loads of you have done it, which is great. More are coming in all the time, which is fabulous. Please keep sending them in. We want to get it bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Janice is after. Somebody suggested on here that we tried to show it, or I can't remember where the suggestion came from, but it was one of you. Thank you very much. Janice is going to see if we can get the Festival of Quilts, not on this year, but it will be next year, if we can show the virtual log cabin at the Festival of Quilts. So fingers crossed, if any of you watching are from Twisted Thread from Festival of Quilts, then maybe think about that idea, just throwing it out there. If any of you are coordinators or no coordinators of any other big quilt shows that might want to show our virtual quilt, then please get in touch. Please email me rather than message me on here, because I'm losing messages on here at the minute. What else has happened? Oh yes, so this lady, she hadn't seen her piece come up straight away on the virtual quilt. It isn't that automated. You can upload your images onto my website. Under there's a tab on the top called Virtual Quilt. Look on there. There's a submission form. Submit your images as per the instructions, and then when I get a chance, I put all those images that you've uploaded onto the virtual quilt. Doesn't happen automatically. I'm afraid I'd love it to. Wouldn't that just be great? It would cut out a piece of admin for me, but it takes a few days for me to get to it, but I will. So today, cutting all the admin and nattering and nonsense out of the way, today I wanted to show you through another couple of sketchbooks. I can't remember which day it was, but a few days ago I showed you a box of treasures from a previous exhibition, from the Newgrounds exhibition, which was maybe 10 years ago, and it was a touring solo show that was at the Knit and Stitch shows, and it was also at Bankfield, Miles Meehan, a few other galleries around the UK. And at the bottom of that box I found a couple of sketchbooks that I'd forgotten about, which can happen. I had a quick flick through and I thought, oh, I haven't seen those for such a long time. It was really nice to see them. And one of them actually dates back to, I think it's my MA, but I'm not sure, to be perfectly honest. I don't put dates on things. As I look at it again, I'm still unsure, but it could have been from my MA. And some of the thought processes in this sketchbook would tally with what I was thinking during my MA. I did my MA at Birmingham at UCE, University of Central England, and obviously it was in textiles, and you were left to your own devices, very much like my degree as well, which suited me just fine, because during that particular period of time I was teaching as well, so I did my MA part-time, and I was running an HND at Barnsley College then too. So I'm going to twizzle the camera around. I'll flick through afterwards and see if you've asked me any questions and see if I can respond to them. But I'm gonna flick through and you can have a look. Let me turn you down. There we go. So I can't see if you're asking me anything at the moment, but if you do, I will try and flick back through. This book is about not just drawing imagery, but creating imagery. So if there are marks like these, then I've tried to make those marks. And for me, this sketchbook was very much a sensory sketchbook, and it was about affecting the way that you turned a page or drawing your attention to a certain area of a page because of the change in movement, or maybe weight, or maybe nothing. So can you see how this one has got lots of little cuts in it? So it changes the twist pattern and the flow of the page. It's about drawing your attention to something. So here you would usually turn a page on from this point, and so that's therefore where the attention is. And then shorter pages. Weightier pages, there's a weight on this end here and here. There's pleating along here and scores and kind of mixed media plastic section. This one makes a nice noise. Can you hear that? Some very faint silver marks on here. You can see the other side. And so then I've started to incorporate the cut elements into drawings. And also small samples of colour work and paint work that have been cut into. So I go from creating a drawing to then doing something that I like to describe as making a drawing. And that's one of the aspects that the Drawing for Textiles students will be doing next week. They will be making their drawings. So there's some colour and texture work here. These colours are still kind of apt for where I am now. This is quite an important thing. Here I've actually drawn one of my maquettes. So one of the pieces, or some of the pieces that I showed you the other day from my big box, that was a drawing of one of those. So rather than simply putting it all in a box, I've reanalysed to see if I can get any extra information from those maquettes. Then there was another sketchbook. I haven't really looked through this one myself yet, to be honest. So these two kind of, one followed on from the other. This would have been the second one, I think. Sometimes I'm only following one line, so there isn't much on a page, and that isn't, it's not important to fill the whole page. You only need the information that's relevant, so that's all I used. Can you hear the banging in the background? That's Mark faffing around with the shed. He's trying to hang his bikes in the shed. That's his task today. I completely forgot it was a bank holiday today. I forgot that he was off work. I had no idea at all. You kind of lose time, don't you? You lose track of where you are in the week. So today is actually Good Friday. I had no idea. Some of these, like I say, very, very simple. I hope you can see the pale lines. These are very basic monoprints. Playing with getting compositions and structures. This is my my telephone when I was running the surface design degree at the university in Huddersfield, and that was my telephone. I was kind of initially quite pleased that I had all these buttons I could press, and then the more it rang, the more I disliked it. But it featured in my work for a while. It's admin, really. It's a metaphor for admin and meetings and things like that. The things I don't really like. These are tents. I really like tent structures. So again, some very simple lines, overlapping of simple lines. I don't think anybody ever got to see this sketchbook really when it was created, or for the exhibition. I don't think I included it in the exhibition. There are lots of simple line drawing, but it was there to give me the direction and help me work out what I needed to contemplate at the time. Always with some notes. I find that really important to help get my thinking in place. I don't need each page to be complete or be finalised. It's a working document. So here's another example of doing a drawing and then making the drawing. So these are stitched pieces, with fabric and collage underneath. Yeah, I don't need a book to be pretty, to be finished. It's got to be a reference document and a working document for me. There we go. And then a lot of that imagery led into, I did some, spent a little bit of time doing some ceramics with a friend, James Outibridge, here in Home Firth. And this is porcelain paper clay with similar-ish types of imagery that I was working on at the time, with oxides and embossments. I quite like the sound of that. It's kind of, it grates, but there's something very pleasing about how delicate it is as well. And I also did a lot of holographic printing, so this is an example of that. And these pieces led from that sketchbook, and others like it. So there you go, that's my little bit inspiration for today. A little insight into another part of my work and what I do, and what I have done. Just at the minute, obviously, I'm not really focusing on completing my silver lining piece. Those of you who don't know, I have called the piece of work that is in waiting, is a piece of work that's unfinished, and I will be using this time while we're stuck at home to complete that piece of work. So it's like my silver lining, you know, seeing the positive in this situation. We've got more time to do some of the things that we haven't quite got round to until now. And so silver lining is temporarily on hold while I do scrubs, but I have made a good start on it, and I am pleased. In the Explore Textiles group, talking about and encouraging one another to finish those unfinished projects is kind of what we're all about at the moment, and people are showing and also kind of claiming just how long they are going to take to complete these unfinished projects. On the last piece, what materials have you used? I've used felt and holographic printing, and also threads. Okay. So yes, it's an opportunity to finish off those projects, and the Explore Textiles group is a way to maybe keep yourself accountable. Could I go into it more? Maybe on another day, because I've got another little video to do for another group of students. And yes, so in the Explore Textiles group, we're trying to keep one another accountable so that we really get those projects finished. So if you would like to join Explore Textiles, if you scroll down, I think, to the bottom of my page, then you will find it down there. Okay. I'm not going to say too much more about these pieces. It's not so much about technique as about the concept that was related to it, and that was it's a past project. It's something that's less relevant to me now, and these particular pieces were really about admin, and about huge amounts of admin being quite overwhelming, and the situation in conjunction with the other pieces. It's a whole kind of exhibition experience, because some pieces in the exhibition were sharp and harsh and biting, and then some pieces were soft and comforting. and there's a balance between the two. So how I've done something is less important than why I did it. And I did these because they were the comfort zone to the harsh, sharp things that were also in the show. I'm going to leave that there. And it to be fair, it's something that I don't really talk about very often, because I used that exhibition to kind of get that out to and move on, and I have moved on. So I'm going to have a few days off from our little chats, lovely as they are, but I have realised that Mark is actually off work now, and this next few days are supposedly proper holiday. We've been working pretty hard over the last few weeks. I will make some scrubs in between times, but I'm going to take a bit of a breather and put my feet up for a little while. So I will be back with you on Tuesday. At 1 o'clock. Okay. And I would be really grateful if you enjoyed seeing through my sketchbooks, if you would share the video and spread the word. There's been an amazing number of people watching the videos. Some days 2,000 people watch the videos, not all at once, but on kind of the playback feature. So that's really, really lovely, very encouraging. Please share the information about the virtual log cabin. That's something that you can look at over the next few days. Yes, I will have a good relax, actually. I'm pretty shattered. I've been doing quite a lot lately. Share the video. Also, have a look on my timeline. I did share a video of the tour of my exhibition at Helmsley Arts Centre that I filmed just before all the lockdown happened, and you will be able to I did a quick live thing, but actually there's a nicer filmed version for you to have a look at that's on my page, that was filmed by one of the volunteers at Helmsley and edited by him as well. So my hair looks bloody awful, but I am talking through the exhibition, and you can see all the work from the exhibition in a much nicer format. Okay, so have a really lovely weekend, whatever you do. Try and stay at home, people. I know the weather's really nice, but sit on your doorstep rather than going out anywhere. And don't eat too much chocolate, drink too much wine, and I will see you on Tuesday. Okay? Mwah. Bye bye.